Right then, so for this next video, we're going to do an outline. Okay, so it's similar to the glow in terms of the fact that it goes around the outside of the shape, but we're going to make it stand out like a solid block of colour to really sort of give it definition and, again, try and lift it off the page. So again, we're going to need two different colours. You can just use the same ones that you've used for the previous one if you want to. I'm just going to get some different ones. Or again, if you've only got pencil, you can just use pencil. That's absolutely fine. What I'd recommend doing is doing a light shading for the inside of your shape, and then when we do the outline, I'll put a bit more pressure on so it's a bit darker if you're just going to be using a pencil. So for this one, I'll go for red. Go for a dark green. Why not? So again, just like on the first one, for this one we're going to apply a colour to the actual object itself. So I'm going to do this one red. Try and keep it as neat as possible. Again, try and keep it within the lines. I'll just quickly do this. And you can do yours as well. Again, make sure you move the sheet around so you're not just bending your arm in all these different places, make your life a bit easier. There we are. That'll do for now. Again, like the previous one, if obviously this was going to be a final piece, I'd expect this to be a lot neater, maybe even a bit more sort of depth to the colour, because this looks more like a pink than it does a red, but that's absolutely fine. It's just to show, obviously, the difference between the object and the page itself. Okay, so there's my second shape. Now, with this one, on the outer glow that we did a very sort of small, darker outline, and then we faded it out. With this one, we don't want it to fade, we want it to be a solid block of colour. So what I'd recommend doing, about sort of 5mm, half a centimetre away from the edge of the shape, we're going to almost like contour the outside. So we're going to follow that same shape, obviously a bit bigger in this instance because we're going around the outside, and just draw in a line with your other colour. Now again, I'm holding the pencil more like a pen down towards the nib of it, and I'm using the point of the pencil as opposed to the side of it, just to give me a bit more control and a bit more pressure, because I want this to be quite a dark, sort of solid colour. Keep moving your page around so it makes your life a bit easier. Like that. And once you've done that, you're going to fill in that gap with a lot of pressure and give it a solid dark colour. In terms of using these techniques when we get back into school and we start putting these onto our graffiti tags, personally, I don't really like the outline one, this one that we're doing at the moment, because I don't think it's as effective as the others. However, when you combine some of them together, it can be used quite well, and you'll see on an example that I'll show you when we get back into school of how you can sort of improve its effectiveness, and it can look a lot better obviously when we combine the two. But obviously it's quite a simple one. around this last curve. And then what we will do as well, similar to the glow that we did, we'll use our fine liner, or just a black biro pen if you've got one, just to show the difference between the actual object and the technique itself. So that's that. Okay, really simple, solid outline. Get my pen. And again, take your time with this because you don't want it to look all sort of sketchy and wispy. You should be following the line that you've already drawn. One nice continuous line. There we go. And the last thing I'm going to do is just go around the outline of the outline, so the sort of the perimeter of it, and just with the point of the pencil add in a defined line. It might have made my life a bit easier, to be fair, if I sharpen the crayon for this point, but we'll persevere on. There we go. Alright, so there's your second one. So again, using two colours, adds a bold outline to the shape again, lifts it off that page a bit more, gives it a bit more definition. Again, not one of my favourite ones, but it can look quite, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Effective, apologies. It can look quite effective when you combined it together with another technique. Alright, so give it a go. It's up to you if you want to use the same colours or different colours. If you've just got a pencil, that's absolutely fine. But a nice sort of contoured line all the way round. Use your biro or your fine liner to give it a defined edge as well. And that's your second one. So that is your solid outline. Okay, give it a go.